Hello and welcome to Fantasy Premier League, the D Unit's journey. This is a Christmas special. I'm in my Christmas clothes for my final team selection for Game Week 18. This is going live on Christmas Day. So to everyone around the world, I hope you're enjoying a family Christmas filled with love, filled with lots of presents, hopefully with plenty of memories being made as well. And without further ado, I'm not going to waste too much of your time today, but I do hope that you will like this video. And secondly, give me a Christmas gift and give me a subscribe, because that would be much really appreciated. To everyone that has already subscribed this year and is following along and just engaging with my content in general, thank you very much. It means the world to me. And with that being said, let's get into final plugs and what I'm thinking ahead of the Game Week 18 deadline. Now, I'm hoping to get inside the top 15,000 for the third week this week in a row. Obviously I got a slight green arrow last week, went into the top 19. So hopefully this week can be another slight green arrow into the top 14. All right, so final plugs for this week. Now, there is a lot to get through. There needs to be replacements to Saka, particularly in my team. I had Saka. Cunha, for a lot of people, is also becoming a problem. And if you're like me, you are also strongly considering selling one João Pedro from Brighton. Now, João Pedro, I can tell you right now, survives this week in my team because I have decided to make another move in the defense in my goalkeeper bracket, and it is getting rid of one of the other Brighton players that has done nothing in my team since game week 12. So, quick tidbit here. Verbruggen is gone. Bart done nothing in my team and he's out. So Christmas shopping list for me included 1 Alisson Becker and 2 Phil Foden in for Saka. So those are my Boxing Day gifts. Hopefully they give me lots of joy on Boxing Day. I'll talk about it more in the deadline stream. Make sure you join us for that. Me and Alan will be live again from early on Boxing Day, covering all the details of ins and outs, last minute things, whatever you want to do. So, midfield replacements for Saka. So, if you are going bargain basement, I still think the best option available is Amad Diallo from Manchester United. I then think it's Ismaila Sarr in second place from Crystal Palace. Number 3, it's Morgan Rogers. He still has been fantastic all season. In reality, he's probably been the most consistent of the lot of these people in here. And 4 comes in with Enzo. Number 5, if I had to give a number 5, it would be Jacob Murphy, but he needs to do it over a longer period of time to make me think that he is worth the effort. If you're wanting expensive options, though, for me, it is Phil Foden, number 1. Now, there is no basis for that other than the fact that the D unit feeling, and I can tell you, my friends will tell you, when the D unit feeling is being felt strongly, I predicted last year that Man United would win the FA Cup based on nothing other than the fact that I felt it. And I felt it. I put a bet on it. It won. I was celebrating. I'm telling you, Phil Foden, I don't know why. I just got a feeling that the next 6 weeks, while I'm waiting for Saka to come back in, he's going to pop off. Don't know why. There's no reasoning behind it at all, but I think he's the best option. Bruno Fernandes comes in at number 2. This is probably my slight bias here, being a Manchester United fan, but he does look amazing. He's on penalties as well. Martin Odegaard, who's obviously going to be taking over from Saka, comes in at number 3 on penalties for Arsenal. I think he's pretty good. You can argue that maybe Martinelli's better, but the fact he's on penalties, I think, is better. Again, Son comes in at number 4. I was unsure on whether him or Maddison should be in this position, but at the moment I've gone with him. Provided that is you have Salah and Palmer. If you don't have either of them, you should be spending up to make sure you get them in your team, because there is no reason not to be having them. So, in terms of the Cunha replacements, it's very similar to Game Week 17, but it will be one still Isaac. That dude is in too good a hot form to just ignore. Jackson, even though he's still got those 4 yellow cards, he's only got 2 more games to get through. It looks like it's potentially he's going to, so he stays at number 2. Number 3 is Gabriel Jesus. Based on a feeling I had, I still had the feeling to bring him in. I even contemplated taking a -4 this week, but I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to leave João Pedro on the bench. And then potentially I'm going to wait to see if Jesus can back it up this week. If he can, then maybe he comes in next week. But if he doesn't, then he's not coming in. Mateta comes in at number 4. Now, he's just beating out Chris Wood here. And I tell you that Chris Wood and Dominic Solanke are 5 and 6 in this particular thing. And there's a reason you could argue that they should be maybe 3 and 4 instead. But at the moment, I've got them at 5 and 6. Now, is it worth bringing back premium midfielders such as Fernandes and Buemo? I think they are. And I really am looking at Jota. I think potentially he might start, and we might see all these people bringing in Luis Diaz be really disappointed when he starts on the bench and Diego Jota starts on the field, but we'll see. Again, I'm not into buying the expensive defenders. I have looked at Trent Alexander-Arnold this week, and I've ignored him. I've seen him go up in price. Not interested in him at all. So preparing for Christmas fixtures and doing some forward planning around what we are expecting from Liverpool and Everton is important, which is why I made my second transfer of Alisson Becker into my team this week. That's now 2 Liverpool players in my team. It sets me up nicely to then figure out which third Liverpool player I want ahead of that game week 24, 25, whenever that double game week does come in. So I've got the forward planning on point there, and I'm hoping that that's going to be good. Remember, this is a time, particularly with Saka coming out, that you can make up bulk rank. Like, I could be dumb here, and with the transfers I've bought in Phil Foden, obviously, and that is a massive risk, considering that not many people have bought him in compared to everyone else. But if he absolutely pops off, I will definitely be soaring into the top 15,000 teams. There is no denying that whatsoever. So the fact that I'm on it, and I've made my transfers, not just leaving Saka on my bench like an idiot, then that means I'm a good chance to actually really make up some rank here. And look, I am going on the Man City punt. You could easily go on the Tottenham punt as well, and I might join the Tottenham punt with maybe a Solanke or someone else of that caliber over the next coming weeks in the midfield instead of like maybe an Ahmad. Ahmad really needs to prove that he's worth the asking point here. Otherwise, I will just use João Pedro as my budget enabler, and I will upgrade Ahmad to probably a more expensive midfielder. And then obviously, Ahmad, Enzo, Sarr, Rogers, Murphy, which one do you buy if you haven't got any of them? Or do you just rock 2 of them? If you like, some teams are actively thinking about just dropping down from the Saka and getting a second cheap enabler. I did consider this as well. And yes, it does make sense if you want to spend money elsewhere in your team. I just don't think it's worth spending the money in your defense, which is why I haven't done it myself. So look, that's what I would say based on all of that information. Now, we are going to quickly jump into the actual team selection very, very shortly. And I'm just going to flick over to that slide now, and away we go. And inside here, obviously, we do have, as you can see, I've just kind of covered the top transfers. Isaac Luis Diaz is coming in at number 2 now, and Gabriel Jesus, I'm just concerned, and Madison. 3 of those 5 players in the top 5 transferred in are minutes risks. I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 of those ones I've just mentioned, Jesus, Diaz, Madison, start on the bench over the next 2 game weeks. I would not be surprised at all. In terms of players being sold, I'm unsure why people are selling Haaland so much. Doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me. João Pedro, I completely understand, and I'm definitely going to be one of those people moving him out probably in the next game week before the deadline. I just do not want to take a -4, and I think that this was the moment where I can get that second Liverpool player into my team, and that is what I've done, but it is not Trent Alexander-Arnold. So without further ado, let's just have a quick look. That is the wildcard draft that I would have gone with if I was on wildcard in game week 18. If you are one of those people that is on wildcard, I really love the look of that. Taking a risk on the Haaland play with Jackson and Isaac also up front, and Mo Salah and Cole Palmer, Bruno Fernandes. That is a lineup I really like there. Now, on to my actual team selection for game week 18. And we have Fabianski will not be starting in goal. That is only just because I've just made this transfer. So I'm going to have to quickly switch him down. With Alisson Becker, as you can see there, has come into my team. So we can see there. I'm just going to quickly save that now. I am pretty happy with the rest of the way that is looking. So Alisson Becker starts in goal. He's got Leicester at home. Now, Fabianski is also playing Southampton, but that is away from home. And I'm expecting Becker not to concede to that Leicester team. That Leicester team looked really poor the last couple of weeks defensively, and I can't see them breaking down Liverpool. I think I expect both keepers to keep a clean sheet. I'm just backing in Becker to do it more easily than Fabianski. That's the only purely reason there. Julian Timber obviously starts at home against Ipswich. Kirkhead starts at home against Crystal Palace. And Hall starts at home against Aston Villa. Now, all my defenders have home fixtures this week. I did contemplate putting Colwill or Robinson in there instead. Cole obviously plays at home to Robinson. I just figured I didn't want to risk it on both of them, so I've just left both of them on the bench. So that's no reasoning again. This is probably the only week where I've sat there and I've looked and I've just playing it purely on gut this week. But I'm willing to back it in. So I did think about starting João Pedro. Brentford do have a lot of injuries in the defense, and look, really, I could easily swap him with Ahmad at this moment in time. I'm not doing that ahead of the deadline stream at the moment, but on the deadline stream, potentially that is the only switch I might make from my starting 11, but I do believe that Wolves will concede goals. I think that the Wolves-Man United game on Boxing Day will be a Christmas cracker. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up something like 4-3 or something stupid like that and there is goals galore. And that means if that is the case, I'm backing both Bruno Fernandes and Ahmad to have a field day with assists and goals in that particular game. Now, Cole Palmer, he has the Fulham at home game and he has been disappointing the last couple of weeks. Jackson's obviously only got 1 goal in the last 3 as well, and he potentially could start on the bench here, because the last time they played midweek, that is exactly what happened. I'm hoping that that is not the case, and they are both going to be starting in my lineup here. I've then obviously got Phil Foden at home to Everton. Now, Everton don't score many goals, and the way that they defend will encourage the types of Phil Foden to pop off, which is why I bought him in. And obviously the fact that he's got an amazing run of fixtures for the next 5-6 weeks. And yeah, look, he's at home. Obviously, Mo Salah's got Leicester at home, and we'll talk about the captaincy decision in a second. So Isaac has Aston Villa at home, and Nicholas Jackson has Fulham at home. A lot of my team have home fixtures this week, which makes me pretty confident in what I'm going to be getting from the lot of them. And then look, obviously, it was a pretty easy captaincy decision this week. I had vice captain and captain the same last game week, and I just can't see Isaac outscoring Mo Salah. I think Isaac's still the second best captaincy option this week. Aston Villa's defense is nothing to write home about at all. And I think the other fixtures, I actually think that Bruno Fernandes would probably be the next best captaincy pick after Isaac this week, behind Mo Salah. So that's the way I've got him ranked in my head. I think Bruno Fernandes is going to have a really big game. He's going to be angry for the fact that he missed so many chances against Bournemouth, a bit like Ahmad, and they're going to come out firing and put it to Wolves on Boxing Day. I just got that feeling. Mo Salah, he is definitely the best captaincy pick. Fresh off 21 points. The man is in such hot form. Unless they sub him off after like 60 minutes, there's no way he's not popping off and getting double figures. You heard it here first. It's definitely going to be happening. He is the best captaincy pick by a decision. That therefore leaves me with Fabianski, João Pedro, Colwill, and Robinson on the bench. Now, again, a lot of these players have home fixtures. So João Pedro, Colwill, home fixtures. Robinson and Fabianski, away fixtures. There's lots to like here. Realistically, I am hoping I've now accumulated over 162 team million value for the season. I'm up to 1,134 points, 18,891. I'm hoping to better that this week and hopefully get inside the top 15,000. Let me know what you're thinking, what you're planning, any late moves, and make sure you join me for the deadline stream. And thanks again for watching, and have a very, very Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching. That's been the D Unit.